Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bahn. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. Hello, sunshine. Welcome back to Be Visible with Veronica. If you haven't had a chance to take a listen to last week's episode with Patty Barris of Be Green Pro, I suggest you do so. She talks about a 15-year journey to a multi-million-dollar company in the landscape business in Wisconsin, owned by a woman. It's a really great story. Today, I'm thrilled to not only present you with Celine Rasborn, a brand new entrepreneur, but also a brand new U.S. citizen, and what it was like for her to want to open a franchise and become an entrepreneur, and she had a little roadblock in the way. We're going to get to that right away. Celine, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Veronica. I'm so happy to be here.
I love your journey. Your story is so impactful because it came from coming into a new country, being in corporate, traveling around the world, being in leadership, all these beautiful things you've done, and then the moment you decided to become an entrepreneur. Tell our audience about that. What was that like for you?
I didn't know that that's what I wanted to do until I really received that message that I wanted to be there for people, and I wanted to be there for people in my community. So about May 2025, I decided, that's what I want to do. And I had a really good friend who pointed me to a recruiting agency. So I started talking to them. I looked at different ones, and then I said, that's what I want to do. And part of the conversation was what it is to buy a franchise. And the first conversation was, I am not a U.S. citizen. Little did I know that was going to become. Yes. And so, we had the new government that had just come on board. Everybody was telling me, it's going to be impossible. But, when I received a message and I knew this is what I wanted to do. Like, it sat with me and it was very clear. And so the day I spoke to the lady at the franchise that I ended up buying, I applied that evening. It's a really long process, especially when you travel a lot in and out and you're on a green card. You have to document all your entries. But I managed to find everything. Thank God for everything being online, but I was able to document 7 years worth of travel. I spent many, many hours that evening, but I applied that evening. And I just knew deep inside me that it would go faster for me because I had just gotten my green card renewed the year prior.
Okay.
So I trusted that this was going to happen. And then the beginning of June, I went into leadership training where I was basically co-captain with a really good friend of mine. And I declared that I was going to have my immigration interview, basically by the time we finished the training. And I was going to become U.S. citizen before the end of the year, no matter what everybody was saying.
Well, I want to talk about that for a minute because so much about an entrepreneurial journey is really about personal development growth as well. And I believe they have to exist side by side.
Oh, yeah.
And you need to be reading and learning and adapting and declaring and putting your mindset around it. And I was never one for the vision board because to me, when I put it on my vision board and I would look at it every day, I would see what I hadn't done yet and it would tick me off. So I decided, I'm the visionary that writes it on a piece of paper, folds it up, and sticks it in the back of my pocket, and then trusts the road to equanimity. Like I'm going there on my own. And I love that you shared that. You declared it in leadership. They made you declare it. And so much about that declaration comes with unknowns.
Right. Outside your control. There's nothing that I was really going to control, except for the fact that I knew deep down that why wouldn't I be granted citizenship when I've lived here a really long time. I've always paid my taxes. There's no reason why. Plus, it just gave me a green card. So why wouldn't they give me, my nationality? And the morning of the graduation of the training, October 3rd, at 8:03, I got an email from the U.S. Immigration with my interview scheduled for November 21st. And I just knew this was a message that this is meant to be.
Oh, wow.
And, I really think that when, a lot of us receive messages, I know my experience has been all along that whenever I put my mind to something, it's not just me stubbornly doing something, I feel very aligned. It's very aligned, my mind, my spirit, and in my body, I feel it's meant to be.
Did you grow up, Celine, having tools or a mentor, family member showing you how to be in alignment and recognize the feeling of, yes, I'm moving forward in this way? Or do you think you're born with it? Like, how? I'm curious, because these are different conversations for different people.
It's a good question. My role model was my mom. She was an entrepreneur. So was my dad. And so I got to see what it takes to be committed and to, even in bad days, to make it happen, having 3 kids and making it happen. And I think it sat with me for a really long time. And even though I was in corporate for a really long time, I've always wanted, to fly somewhere, somehow. And, it just took whatever it took, my journey to get there. I thoroughly enjoyed what I did in corporate, but I really felt called to do something different and something that I had to give. Like everything that I've done in my corporate role, as well as the leadership training that I've been doing for the past 3 years, I really feel like it was time for me to give back and put it in action, like put it in motion concretely in my local community. And so I think that all of my upbringing and all the training I've had over the years, the responsibilities, it just all converged, and it was just like a natural progression. It didn't feel hard anytime.
Oh, I love that. Don't you believe that when, I know for myself, I've recognized when I've been in ease and flow and things of like creating the podcast and my advisory consulting business and going from working with my husband for 17 years and then into network marketing for 14 years and then creating social media marketing and side hustle expert and transform myself, all of these things that I've done, the ones that were really hard, when things got to be hard, it was time to pivot and shift. And that's not always the easiest thing to do, especially when you feel very comfortable. And I think on the other side of comfortable, you have to go through fear to get out of your comfort zone and then get into faith. But then you're in the flow. And when you're doing what you're supposed to do, everything else falls in line.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to recognize. It's like you can feel it at the nuclei of your cells.
Yeah. So it takes trust in yourself. So that takes some practice. It takes trusting other people that kind of challenge you. Not just that you can trust they're going to take care of you, but more that they're going to help you when times are tough. They're going to help you when you go sideways.
Sideways, yes.
Be the real supporting, type of people that really are there for you and stand for you to just stay committed to, one, what you declared. For me, like what I've declared, I want to make happen. So I just want to know what's in the way of that not happening every day. Like, okay, this didn't happen today. Who do I get to be tomorrow so this happens tomorrow? And always looking at it really from the leadership style of, I make everything happen, right? I generate everything that happens in my life.
We control our own.
We make our own choices.
Yes.
I mean, nobody forced me to do this. And we make our own choices. And also, I have a responsibility to my family. I have a responsibility to my employees.
Yes, you do.
And honestly, it's wonderful to be able to support other people. So I take that seriously as well.
I love that.
And like we were discussing earlier, I want to enjoy what I'm doing. Like, I want to have fun. It's not always easy, but at the end of the day, I want to be happy that I've created something that matters to other people, that will impact others, can make a difference for other people. And, I purchased a franchise that's a recruiting agency, so it's a pretty important business for companies to find great people and for people to find jobs, and in the local community. So I feel like that's my calling. Is part of a calling that's been there a really long time, and I really enjoy the journey, even when it's hard.
Even when it's hard, yes. Even when it sucks, you have to embrace the suck, I've learned. when you can, then you really appreciate the joy that comes out on the other side of that. And at what point did you decide to step into a leadership program?
It just came by. I felt that I had achieved a lot within my company. I worked for a Japanese company called Fujitsu, and I was one of the only women at this level, pretty much. No real women leaders anywhere else above. And I wasn't quite sure what that was going to look like. And I knew that I get to generate what I want. And so I felt like, I get to look at in the mirror, and I get to look at my leadership and see where I get to improve. And I took some feedback from my boss at the time. I felt like, you know what, I get to take that feedback and see what I can do with it. And so when I made that decision, pretty much within 30 days, I bumped into a leadership program that I felt was interesting to me, different, and was online. And I didn't quite know what I was walking into, but it starts with letting go of what's not working and really focusing on who you are as a person.
And for things to change, we got to change. And for things to get better, we got to get better.
Yeah. Actually, it was really about finding who you really are. So at the heart of it, who am I? And, who do I want to be? And what do I want to experience every day? And what do I want in my life? So coming back honestly to who you are as a person, no matter what life has created around you or what's happened in your life, who are you inside?
Okay.
Right? And really coming back to your true, your true characteristic and who you want to be as a result of it in this life.
I love that. One of the things that I heard you say a minute ago, and this is what started me on my entrepreneurial journey, and really in working with my husband in sales for so long as well, I did not want to live in fear of a pink slip, and I didn't want anybody else telling me how much I was worth. Now, it took me a while to figure out the worthy part. Understanding, adapting into what the market bears, having a trust in the proof of concept for the companies that I was starting, really understanding what that looked like. And I also, in the journey of my life, and I had a segue over into a network marketing company for a while, that I absolutely loved the personal development and the growth and who I became and some of the leadership skills that I was learning. I learned a lot about people and processes and systems. But the one thing they kept saying over and over again was, would you rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts or 100% of your own? And you know what? Darn it, Celine, I like 100% of my own efforts because I know I can count on me. And I loved that you said that you wanted to be able to dictate what your value and your worth is, and whatever you wanted to make, the ceiling was no longer an issue. That was up to you.
Yeah. So, finding out who you are, even at 53, finding out who you are. And also I did a lot of work in the last 5 years. Working for a Japanese company put me in an international company, put me in the middle of a lot of men. So I lost a lot of my femininity and connection to myself, which is what us women really live from. You talked about flow and that really was missing. And so right after COVID, I met a lady called Carrie Tepedino, and I joined her program, which is a women program, and it's a leadership program for women, and done a lot of work on reconnecting with my feminine side. And because basically my life was very much out of balance. Unconsciously, I made a lot of decisions once I had my kids. I made some decision I wasn't even aware of what role I played in our home, who else could fulfill what I could not fulfill, and just all these decisions that honestly were in the back of my mind and never really present in my mind until I saw and I heard myself say some of the decisions I made and why I made them. So it really took just paying attention to who I was as a little girl, connecting to the woman that I had become, and then looking at all the areas in my life that were suppressed.
Wow. And I love that you mentioned that, because there is a time in, and maybe our young girls aren't facing it now, or 20, 30 somethings. I mean, the gal that just did our makeup for the show, Shelby, she talked about how she competes in bodybuilding, and how her journey of developing that baby muscle. And then it got stronger. And that's what we do. We're constantly developing the muscle of attitude, of worthiness, of joy, of family, of who we are. And that we're constantly, and if you're not building it, your brain, stop relying on AI so much. Use it, love it, but let's use the brain too. But all of these things that if we stop using them, we will lose them. And so as women, when we get into a corporate world or an environment where we're mostly surrounded by men, I was in that space too in the beginning. And even when I worked with my husband in his sports industry, I was one of few women in a conference room or coming to an event, or it was challenging because I'm sitting here with all these ideas and all this background, and I had to play the supportive role and not the idea role. And now my husband and I talked about it just today, Celine. He said he's on the end of his career, and mine literally just started ramping up like 10, 15 years ago, and I'm loving it. And we were talking about and we're 5 years apart, so what does our life look like now? And he said, I don't really see you wanting to ever retire. So what does that look like for you? And I'm like, really? We're talking about that right now? Like, can we put that on my calendar? And he just laughed. But it was so true. I had to learn how to embrace my sensitivity, embrace my femininity, look at it as strengths, not weaknesses. Yeah. And I think that's the message I want every young woman listening to today, and every woman in her 40s, 50s, or 60s, 70s. Embrace your femininity. Look at how that's a strength. Use it to your advantage in how you're supposed to be.
Right.
But also, it's okay to have a masculine side.
Right. Yeah, and I realized where the balance is, right? So when I'm too controlling and I want things to happen and I want result, that's the masculine. The flow and trusting your instincts, and the kindness and the patience, that's the feminine. So I know when I feel I'm in my masculine versus the feminine. And nowadays, I get to stop myself and look at it and say, oh, okay.
And did you learn that on your leadership program?
Yes,
because I know that there's a lot of people listening to this asking themselves, what should I go do next? What is going to help me move my needle forward? Is it a coach? Is it a transformation expert? Is it somebody who focuses on personal development? Is it somebody that's in leadership? Is it a Bob Proctor program? Is it a Jack Canfield Is it who has a program out there that I need to follow? Jen Gottlieb or Veronica Bahn? I was Celine. Who's out there that can help me advance my business but advance me and stay and really stay balanced. And I've heard so many women leaders say, you're always out of balance. Something's always out of balance. And I'm thinking, you can teeter a little, but you don't have to be skewed so much where your pie chart or your wheel, your tire that you're driving down the road in is completely flat. You don't need that. So do you think
it's a constant adjustment, right?
Yes.
I think our lives get to be balanced. You don't want to stay too much into one area or too much into the other area. You get to feel that you've balanced it.
So how do you recognize that? How does Celine recognize when she's out of balance?
Usually it will feel hard. It will feel I'm not happy. Definitely when I'm too much in my masculine, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like I'm generous. It doesn't feel like I'm there for others. It feels very selfish. And I don't like being in that space. Because now I can feel that I can make the decision to really contribute to other people. Okay. It's up to me, right?
All right.
And then if I'm too much in my feminine, things don't happen. So, not that they don't happen, but it takes a lot longer. And there's trusting has its limits. So I get to pay attention to that. So it's really feeling how I know I want to feel. Like I've done enough work, but I know how it feels when it's balanced, and I know how it feels to give and take. And usually it's feedback from others, right?
Oh,
I pay a lot of attention to the feedback from my family, feedback from people that work closely with me. some really good friends who can basically give me some honest feedback.
I love the really good friends. So I'm in a couple masterminds, and I love them for exactly that purpose. They will call you on your shit, seriously, if they need to, and with permission.
Yeah.
Because those are those trusting groups that not every group is that.
Right.
But finding the one that is, even if it's just 2 or 3 other advisors that are going through the same thing you're going through,
Right.
or are building the same way who have the same vision and goals that you do, and you can share some of that with each other.
And the energy that they have. So one of my really good friend who has done leadership with me for many years, she actually became the managing director in Austin for a woman.
Okay.
Sarah Chever. And I know when her and I talk, we go straight to what matters. And, hey, I want to run this by you, or this is what I'm up to. And it's just feedback. It's really like, do you want some feedback?
The permission.
Exactly. So
important.
Am I your
to
friend
ask
right now,
permission.
or am I going to help you get to the next level? Are you stuck? Do you need help? And many of the other women that I've met in leadership are the same way.
I love that. It's so important to be able to also ask permission. There are many times I will sit across from somebody and I can see the holes in their boat.
Right.
And I immediately know at least 2 to 3 things they can do to plug those. But I don't just offer a solution or say, oh my gosh, have you because they haven't asked.
Yeah.
That's not the conversation we're having. Maybe we're just being a friend in the moment. So be able to discern when to offer advice is super important. And also know who to take advice from. Because let's be honest, opinions are like elbows. Everybody has 2, one of my mentors used to say. And so, or still says. And I love that line, because who is offering the advice? Are they where you want to be? Mm-hmm. Have they gone through what you are going through now? And
are you trusting them?
And their opinion doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, feedback is in the moment.
Yes.
And feedback's neutral. Feedback is information.
It's just information.
And it's how you choose to, take the feedback and what you're going to do with it that matters. What the other person gives you is just their experience of you in the moment.
Yes. I love that. Right? Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, so, hey, you may have slipped in that moment, or you were deliberate doing this, and it's just feedback. So you get to take it and say, oh, I don't want this. Oh, yes, actually, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So you never know. So feedback is a really good way to move forward.
I think that's a great pro tip, that it's information. And also, where's the information coming from? Mm-hmm. And that's how you can discern what you do with that.
Yeah, and it's generous, right? Feedback is generous. For me, if somebody wants to spend some time with me or wants a conversation with me, I'm going to be, direct, honest, and I'm going to ask permission, but I'm also going to say, hey, this is why I'm telling you this. This is what I'm experiencing, and this is how you came across. And it's not much different than how you bring up your kids. So, my kids, it's the same thing, and I tell the same thing to my husband is, okay, do you want me to be the mom right now, or do you want me to be the friend? Mm-hmm. What do you want me to be? Like, tell me who you want me to be, exactly the same way, because I can be either or, it's fine. I just want you to tell me, because right now I have something to say if you want me to help you. Well, and they're not always available.
Well, and I don't know if you had anybody. I've had a number of guests on the show who have said, when I started this journey, I had people telling me I was crazy. I had people wanting to tear me down. I had people telling me, well, who did I think I was? I had people telling me no, that I would not succeed. And then, and despite all of that, they have, and they are, and they're moving forward. And that's why I want people to also pay attention to because that's feedback. Yeah. But that's not always helpful information.
It's like, thank you.
But is it going to put kerosene on the little flame that's inside you, or is it going to be a bucket of water that douses that flame?
Or does it fly right off? It's not landing. It's
it doesn't land.
I hear you, and that's not me. That's just
and be able to take it and not engage in it if it's not helpful. I think it's a very powerful piece of entrepreneurship because some of the most successful business women in the world had people tell them that they had the naysayers around saying,
Most people who've done great things are crazy people, no? So.
That's why very few succeed and continue. So here we are, succeeding and continuing. I love it.
We all have our own scale, right?
So let's talk about your amazing company that you just started back in January.
Yes.
Pride Support.
Yeah, Pride
Staff.
Pride Staff.
Why did I say Pride Support? I don't know, because we're supporting each other here. Pride Staff. So you bought a franchise, and I want to speak to this a little bit because there are quite a few people out there that are being given a pink slip right now, and with the severance package. They've been in their corporate job for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and they don't know what to do. And they think, well, maybe I want to be an entrepreneur. What does that feel like? But they don't want to start from scratch. They want to possibly purchase a franchise, just like what you did. What are some of the benefits of that?
Yes, and if you're not quite sure, but you feel inside you that you're called to actually start something, but you want some support, the franchise is a great model. And you can research them and speak to their business development team. Usually they'll go through with you what their model looks like and their recipes for success. And you'll know whether it's aligned. Like, you get to listen to really how you feel and not be in fear, because they are invested in you succeeding. So the franchise, they don't just let anybody come in. At least my experience through talking to many franchises is you'll get interviewed. You probably will get interviewed by their board of directors. You're going to go through, a series of applications and processes because they want to make sure you're the right match culturally, and also that you know what you're getting into.
Do you think that there are there brokers to use? Can you call a franchise directly? Like, how are some different ways people could locate a franchise? Or just because somebody loves pizza doesn't necessarily mean they should own a pizza parlor, right? So how do you think somebody should decide what a franchise? And it can't. I know that I have friends who they were just looking for the cha-ching. They wanted they were willing to make a bigger investment for the franchise that was going to make it be a cash cow quickly. So how do you think people should start their research?
You can use Google Gemini and put in what it is that you like.
AI.
Yes, thank you, AI. Honestly, start with just putting out there in a AI model what you like. Like, what are the things that you enjoy? And not necessarily, the nature of a franchise you want. Maybe you'll end up with a UPS franchise, or like my friend Heather, a Yogurtini franchise. And for me, I got to see very quickly what my calling was about people and being connected to people. So once I talked to a couple of my friends, recruiting became really interesting. So I focused on that. I researched a lot of different companies. And I talked to a friend of mine who works a lot with different franchises.
Okay.
And she pointed me in the right direction. So I did some research, talked to a few people, and then I started talking to the franchises to see who was a match for me. And I can tell you the one for me, as an example. I came from an IT background. I've been in IT for 33 years. So for me, technology is kind of my bread and butter. And I got to talk to them and actually met one of their IT leaders. And they are so on top of their IT journey and the integration of new changes all the time. And that's so critical to be efficient.
Okay.
And for us as business owners to really make a difference in our day-to-day operations.
And it came with the systems already.
So a franchise, the benefits of a franchise is, they take care of the marketing. You just get to execute the model. There's a recipe for success. So for somebody who wants to have their own business and don't want to have the risk of starting everything from scratch, it's such a huge stepping stone to, you already are, within 60 days, you're up and running.
Wow.
Like any professional, and you get support. So, when I came into this year, my big word was to be supported and surrounded.
I love that phrase, supported and surrounded. I think that's so important.
And for franchise, I let them guide me. And I listen to what they say. They give me a lot of feedback.
Following their system because it works, right?
And trusting the system because, it's worked for hundreds of people before me or more. Why wouldn't it work for me, right? So I get to put my secret sauce in it, because it's about people. But at the end of the day, the process itself, I just get to learn it and execute.
Okay.
And so does my team. So I will say, from my perspective, a franchise is a lot less risky because they'll help you get up to speed. And they have everything from business setup all the way through. I set up my C Corp in 12 days. They sent me a referral to talk to a company who helped me do a rollout for my 401k to invest my own money.
Wow.
I don't owe anybody any money investing in my business.
Oh my gosh.
So for me, I just wanted to use my retirement funds, or a portion of it, small portion of it, and I just wanted to see how that could work. And they put me in touch with an organization, and everything just happened so easily that I knew it was going to happen. So
amazing.
It's a way to move forward with something that may be inside you that you never trusted yourself you could do all the way. Just like a partnership with somebody, right? You could go in business with a friend. You could go in business with somebody who has the same idea. This is like going in business with a lot of people who have the same idea.
So
basically.
Success in 60 days started right out of the gate. You're now 9 months in, 6 months in?
6 months in.
6 months in.
6 months in.
What is one thing that you're looking to achieve by the end of the year?
I want to be very profitable by the end of the year. I want my team to be excited that they had a great year. So that's the financial side. And for me, I want to be able to say, I stuck with it, I was consistent, and I was able to deliver consistently by just following the process and trusting. It was that easy. That's where I want to be.
Oh my gosh. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you, Celine, and they want to learn more about what is it that you're looking for right now? What is it that your company needs?
So we're a recruiting agency, so we need the clients, so people who are looking for staff, and then we need candidates, people who are looking for jobs, right? So my office is in Scottsdale, so if you look up pridestaff.com and select the Phoenix Scottsdale section, that's where my office is. I have 2 business partners in the area as well, one in Tempe and one in Goodyear. Okay. So depending on where the clients are or where the candidates come from, we will match candidates and jobs. So that's one area. And I'm happy supporting people with their process for interview, their resume. Believe me, it's incredible the poor quality of applicants that we get because
Even
they
with
don't
AI
know how
these
to apply.
days.
No.
Oh gosh.
Terrible.
So they can come into you and get support there.
I'm
as
happy to provide advice on where they are, and if you've had a lot of interviews and you want some advice as to why you're not getting the job, a quick conversation will probably help establish where the gaps are.
And
well.
That's pridestaff.com.
And look at
Celine Rasborn. And we'll put all of that information in the show notes for you so that you know how to find her and share this story and this podcast out, because there will be so many people who want to learn about franchising. They have a severance package and they want to know how to even get started and what that looks like and why they would want to versus starting their own journey. And they might want to connect with Celine here and learn, and maybe they're looking for a job. They want to be one of your
anything.
They want your benefits and they want to be one of your associates who get placed.
Yes.
That would be great. I have loved this. It is a very different conversation. We have not had a franchise conversation in almost 63 episodes. So thank you for sharing your story, your journey to American citizenship. Congratulations. The beautiful journey with your children and how you show up as a mom, and really learning how to identify that balance between your feminine side and your masculine side and seeing it as a strength. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I look forward to having you back and sharing your 7-figure success. That would be amazing.
Yes.
And I look forward to just watching your continued growth and the community that you're really supporting and helping. That's beautiful, Celine. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me today. Appreciate it.
You're so welcome. If you've loved this episode, please remember to share it with others. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because that actually makes a big difference for who sees these episodes. I'm Veronica Bahn. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.